What's up guys, welcome to new Unreal Engine 5 tutorial. This is the final part for my boss fight tutorials, and in this one we will basically implement our boss fight into a really cool environment and overall make it look spicier. It's going to be a very easy video to follow, so let's get started. Alright, so you can see I have this really cool environment in Unreal Engine 5, and it's actually one of the best looking environments honestly you can get right now in the marketplace. I would say, look how cool this looks. And I actually collaborated with the asset creator, or I think over a month ago, and we made a really cool video. So if you want to go ahead and check out the asset, I will leave it in the description because it's absolutely amazing. And then of course I have imported Echo, right? And if you know, Echo is basically one of the free characters from one of the Unreal demos, which I will also link in the description, so you can go ahead and import this free character into this level, and of course replace our default mannequin with this really cool character, which comes with its own blueprint and so on. So what I've done is basically open this environment. Of course you can use whatever environment you want, but in my case I'm going to be using this one, and just set the game mode to of course have the Echo game mode. That way we can spawn with the Echo character, as you can see, which is pretty cool. So we have this really cool Echo character. We can enter in this section and so on, and overall it looks really cool. So now what we need to do is find a really cool area for our boss fight. And of course I think that immediately you went and thought of this arena, right? That is a great, oh look how cool it looks, place. And yes, it looks great, but I found a really cool one, which is actually here, which I prefer it. And you might say, well, the other one looks more like an arena and so on, but this one looks like more beautiful, with the columns. There's more illumination. I like it more. So I'm gonna go ahead and just modify a bit the lighting with Ctrl L. I'm gonna just increase a bit the sun, that way we can get a bit more light, as you can see. And then with that said, I'm gonna save, and I'm gonna go ahead and drag in our golem blueprint. So let's go into the boss fight folder that we created and drag in our BP boss into the level. Let's go ahead and rotate this 90 degrees, and let's go and place him right over here. And then a trick is to press End in our keyboard, and it will automatically go and detect the surface and align it, which is really cool. Quick tip for Unreal Engine. And now that we have that, of course, we need to also add the nav mesh, right? Please don't ask me again. So basically the AI can move around, right? As we did with the third person level. So let's go and open this quickly, add to the project section, go to volumes and add a nav mesh bounce volume to the center. And then we can just lock the scale and put like around 20. And that way now, if we press P, as you can see, we can see all the area that our boss can go. And that's actually pretty good, it will keep the boss in this area, which is really nice. Cool, press P again, now we hide it, and we're good to go. So let me go and also add a player start right over here. So let me just drag in all classes, type in while having the mouse on top of this toolbar, and then drag in player start. Let me rotate it around 90 degrees, and that's it. Perfect. Let me go ahead and just place it over here, and we're good to go. So now when I go and press play, as you can see, we have here the boss fight, and we have our character. And of course, if we come into his vision, he will come immediately to go and punch us. As you can see, the damage system is working, but from one side only, right? From the boss's side, not yet from the player's side. So we are actually not decreasing our health, which is important to highlight. Anyway, as you can see, there's a bit too much light, I think. Right, so I'm gonna go and find the direction of light, and maybe instead of 10 I'm gonna put it to 8, and that way it's a bit more, there we go, smoothed out. And then let me also go and fill in the music, because right now we are using another game mode, right now the third person game mode. So we need to go and find this game mode, open this up, and also spawn the music as we did. So let me just add a begin play to this blueprint, and let's spawn, right, a sound 2D, right? And we mentioned in the last episode that we're using spawn instead of play, so we can have a return value, and maybe later on change the volume of the sound, or maybe stop it, things like that. So now let's select the boss fight music. I don't know what volume we got, I think like 0.3, something like that. And let's go and just press play, and now there we go, we have the music. Yeah, so maybe that's a bit too loud. I think that 0.2 will be a bit better. Let's try this out. Yeah, that's way better. But for the purpose of the video, let me drop it to around 0.1, just so you can hear me 100% clearly. Cool, so that is definitely going ahead and working. I like how this is going. And now let's also add the damage for our echo character. So I just closed it, I'm stupid, so let me try and find out again. So in blueprints, echo, let's open this up, and then we will also go to the third person blueprints and open this up. And in the main event graph, you can see that we have the attack and health, and that's basically the only two systems that we added. So it is as simple as it's going, selecting these two big comments, Ctrl C, go to echo, go to the main event graph, just double click on here if you don't see it, and then just find a place like around here, Ctrl V to paste it, reset attack, do nothing, confirm, and just put it right aligned at the bottom of the other comment. And now with that said, the only thing we need to do is go on here and drag in reset attack. So let me delete this and type it again. It's basically when we call functions or events, it basically breaks when you copy and paste it. It's how it is. Now we don't have a full camera, but we do have a camera. So I'm gonna drag this over to replace it, right? It's basically the naming is a bit different. Now we also don't have a health variable, so let's right click and create one. And I believe that the health was to 100, so let's select the health, put it to 100 and compile. Good, so now we actually have all the things done. So we have the attack system once again, so we can attack the golem, and then we also have our health system, so when we receive a lot of hits, we will die. So now if I go and press play, I should be able to go to the boss. He should see me, and after a few deaths, and also as you can see I'm decreasing his damage on the top, and I should die, and we have the health like that. So let me try to make him hit. There we go, and you can see that I fell to the ground. Why is that? Well, first of all, the nav mesh only gets to here, so let me make it slightly bigger, so we will make sure that the AI will not get stuck like it just did, right? It was trying to attack me when it was not reaching me. So let's go and find the nav mesh bounds and maybe put it to around 30. That will work, that fills all the map, good. And then also, basically we didn't ragdoll. That's because we need to change a property in the mesh, which is going down, and basically on collision, go and set the collision enabled to collision enabled query and physics. And we're gonna make sure that this mesh has a physics asset, which should. So if I go to the asset details, we should have, there we go, physics asset, which is good. Alright, so let me also go and find the boss fight folder, and what I am going to do is open the BPAI boss, so the AI controller of this boss, and I'm gonna go ahead and select the pawn sensing and increase the sight radius to around 5000. So I'm just gonna make sure that the AI will 100% see me when we start the game, and he will directly come, which looks way cooler. So now, yes, when I will basically go and die, so I mean die on purpose, there we go with ragdoll. Cool. You also may notice that when we receive damage, we kind of slide a lot and we don't go so much up in the air. So I'm gonna go and change some properties of this. So we can disable the third person character blueprint and open up the boss blueprint itself. So we selected Ctrl E, we can edit it, and I'm gonna go into the attack. Right at the end, when we launch the character on the up vector, right upwards, we're gonna increase this to around 250, so it will be launched a bit higher. And then also in echo, I'm gonna go into the character movement component and search for friction, and as you can see, the break-in friction factor is set to 0, so let's put it to around 0.8, and now we will have some friction, which will kind of stop the character from completely sliding away. So if I now go and press play, he will come, I go to him, and now as you can see, we go higher in the air. Now I mean in the stair is not so noticeable, and we also don't slide so much, which is basically going ahead and looking cooler. So I'm very happy with that. And overall, we have a way better boss fight, as you can see. Now let's add an extra bonus, which is gonna be the health bar of the player, right? So I'm gonna go and open up the UI folder, well, we don't have a UFO, we just have it in the boss fight. Okay, that will work. And then I'm gonna go and create another user interface, which will basically WB_player health. And yes, we're gonna have it on different widgets, so we will not mix things up. So the boss will have its own UI, so it's gonna be more modular. So let's add a canvas panel as we do always, and then we can drag things to the screen. So in this case, I'm gonna just go and open this up, select this health bar, Ctrl+C, go here, Ctrl+V, and just paste it, right? And then set the position X and Y to 0, 0, and that way, you know, I saved a few minutes of just setting up the health bar, right? On looks, let's say. Now, of course, I'm gonna place it on a different position, so I'm gonna go down and just place it at the left. So this will also change how the anchors are placed, so this will be at the bottom corner. And then also for the sides, well, this will be way less. So for the Y, it will be way thinner, and for this, it will be like something more like this, more like maybe 500, right? And that looks a bit better. So I'm gonna go ahead and move, sorry, not this, but the position X to here and Y over here, and we now have this really cool health bar on the bottom part of the screen. And now I'm also gonna go ahead and change the opacity of this, which should be, there we go, render opacity. Let's put like 0.8 or 0.5 even. Yeah, 0.5. So it's not like so noticeable, no? Well, maybe that's too much. 0.8 I think will be good, right? So it's like less noticeable. And with that said, we can now go to BP Echo, and in the current player start, we can basically just go and create a new widget, right? Which will basically go and be WB_health, and just add this to the viewport. And on top of that, I can right click and save this on a variable so we can update the value. So this will be health bar UI or widget, whatever you prefer. And then go ahead and just put this at the end, plug this in, and now go down. And on health, when we basically receive damage before we die, we're gonna do this. So I'm gonna just make a sequence, and over here I'm gonna go and basically just get the health bar widget, right? And then just get the health bar itself, right? And then from this, I can just set the percent value. And what will the percent value did? Well, we did it already for the boss, which is basically just getting the current health and dividing this value by the max health, which in this case for the player, it's 100. And we're doing this division because of course this value goes from 0 to 1, so that's why. Alright, so now if I press play, you will see that we have the health bar at the bottom part of the screen, which I'm gonna make it a bit less less transparent, more opaque. And as you can see, it is updated indeed. So cool. Let me go back here and put it to render opacity to 0.9. Oh, that's the percent. That's the percent. Okay, put it back to 0.8 or whatever. Go down. Render opacity 0.8, something like that's a bit better. And let's try this. Yeah, that's a bit better. So now we have the health bar at the bottom part of the screen. Now let me make it a bit taller, right? Maybe like 20. Well, actually 15. And then also maybe not so transparent, maybe like 0.65. And I think that's a bit better. There we go. So now we have two health bars, the boss and this one. Now for the boss, I'm gonna go and open up this and you slightly drop it down. So I'm gonna place a text over here. Anchors up, position X, Y here, 0.5, 0.5, and then I'm gonna go and increase the size overall here, center it, and change the name to Golem Boss Fight. Something like that, right? So it looks really, really cool. The font, I'm gonna let it like this. Maybe the size we can put it to be a bit bigger, and overall that looks pretty cool. So now we have this text saying Golem Boss Fight, which is pretty neat, honestly. Maybe we can even put it to be red, right? And then add a subtle outline in here, maybe like a 2, you know, maybe like make it white or something, or yeah, white, and then have a low opacity, or yeah, or darker, yeah, something like that, you know, or you know, completely dark we can make it. And if now I press play, there we go, we have this Golem Boss Fight over here. Now I also like to change the health bar. I'm gonna change it for the background color, so in style, right? The background tint. I'm gonna basically make it a bit kind of darker and copy the value, right? Because I like how the UI looks like this. So let me go and also on the tint like this. There we go. Oh, what did I do? I made it transparent. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to paste it here. There we go. And now, yes, the UI definitely looks a bit better, as you can see. Cool. So with that, maybe it's actually a bit too too dark. Maybe we can put it like here. There we go. But of course, you can play around with that. But now we have our golem boss fight created with a really cool environment. He will come to us and go and start to smack us, which is really cool. Maybe we can increase a bit the how do we say, the camera shake, right? So back in here on camera shake, we can basically open this and change a bit of the properties, maybe make it last a bit longer, and overall in the location we can make it higher frequency, right, in X and Y. And now when it stomps, it will be a bit bigger, right? So sweet. Yeah, it's a bit more noticeable, as you can see. And also what I am going to do is do it on the Y, sorry, I said put in 10. And also gonna change the default value for the speed of the character in echo. So I'm gonna go ahead and find the main events graph, which is here, go into the jog override, and now we're gonna find this default max walk speed. Gonna go to character remove component, and then the max walk speed, gonna set it by default to be this one instead. And then on the main event graph, once again, I'm going to go ahead and just disable. Well, I'm not gonna even. Yeah, we actually need to disable actually. So I'm gonna disable all this, and that's it. Cool. So now with that said, by default, our player will also be running, which is pretty cool. And he will come to us with a cooler camera shake, as you can see, and overall, it looks absolutely amazing. Now the stomp, I am going to increase the sound because it's not very high. So M stomp, go to source, sound, and drop it to, increase it to like 3. And now the stomps will definitely hear higher, as you can see. You can also hit the rubber. Yeah, that is way cooler. Alright guys, so if you found this video helpful, I would really appreciate it if you like the video and subscribe to my channel. We might have full access to the profiles to Patreon or YouTube members. Join my Discord server, follow my socials. Now yes, with all that said, bye bye.